Okay, we are back. I am going to go ahead and start doing a little something different right now for you guys. I am going to, we'll call this the Julia Child of laser engraving. I'm going to be going over the step-by-step way of how I've been doing this laser engraving, but instead of doing the live, long version while I did all the setups, we're just going to take you through the little bits of it. First off, I'm using an xtool S1. This method works for your diode laser engravers. It should work on fiber laser engravers, CO2 and UV. This is not a necessary step. It will automatically engrave your glass. You just have to find the right settings. I am currently working on these little 5.5 ounce paster glasses. And we're going to go ahead and start, like I said, from the beginning. So we're going to assume that you've already figured out your laser engraver settings when it comes to power, LPC, speed, all that stuff, and you've found a good material to go with. Now, for most of you, probably the best thing to go with is a simple laser marking spray from one of the companies like xtool, Omtech, there's a couple others out there, but we'll just go with that. You can make your own from tempera paint and some other things. Give me 1 second. Julia Child's fashion, this is for the work, for the cooking, not for me, but I'll still drink it. So anyways, that being said, the process here is going to be pretty simple. And I have some of the stuff pre-prepared, that's the right words, yeah. And we're just going to go over it. So you're going to find your glassware, and the first thing you're going to do is get yourself a nice clean rag and some 98% isopropyl alcohol, because by far that is the best to clean your glasses with, that I've found. Give it a little spritz, and then you're going to take your glass you're going to engrave, you're going to give it a rub down on the outside and the inside to make sure it's nice and clean and get all that grease off of it. Now we're going to do that to all the glasses you're doing. If you're just doing one or two, just do those. If you're doing some for later, set them off to the side. But now we're going to move on to the next step, and what that is going to be is prepping the glass with paint for your laser engraver. Now, see here what I have is some Omtech black laser marking spray. And all we're going to do is lightly dust the outside of it and just the area we're going to engrave. If you go on the back side, you run the risk of actually getting the engraving on the opposite side. So we're just going to do it on one side. And as you can see, I have my high-tech spray booth here, a cardboard box held up by other cardboard boxes. And give this rattle can a nice shake, hold it over it, and give it a nice quick spritz. Place it very gently back so we don't knock any of that spray off, because the one thing with this spray is it's like chalk. As soon as it dries, it will wipe off really easy. And we'll do it again. Go ahead and set that one back right here. And we'll do a third just for fun. So here you go. In the box. Nice little spritz, and now we have it painted up. Now, once that dries thoroughly, which depending on your temperature can take a little longer, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, we're then going to take it over to the laser engraver. Now, I hope the camera will follow me over there. Please bear with me if you're just joined us. I might have to adjust the camera over there, and I'm going to take my iPad with me because this is how I'm able to see any comments. And if you are watching and you can, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. We are a channel about DIY, woodworking, laser engraving, and kind of empowering you guys to get out there and do your own things. So, I'm going to go ahead and take one of these ones I've already done earlier, such as this one right here, and we're going to walk over to the laser engraver. Alright, and we're back at the laser engraver. And as you can see here, I'm using the xtool S1 40 watt. And I'm going to take my glass, and I'm going to ever so carefully put it into the chuck. And I have pre-positioned everything on this so that when I double click this button, which if you have an xtool, especially the S1s, the trick you can do is once you get your chuck and everything set up on that first go and have completed it, you can click the finish button, but don't send the file again. As long as you leave everything the same in here, it doesn't matter if you move this laser or anything else, if you double click the blue button or the start button right here, it will go back to those original last settings and start engraving. And as you can see, the machine's going. So here we go. It's going to take about 3 minutes, maybe 4. So while we're here, I'll go ahead and kind of go over glass and some of the things that you guys want to maybe look at. Now understand, glassware, when you're engraving it, is going to vary depending on brand, quality. Cheaper glass typically tends to engrave better and frosted better than more expensive glass. However, it can also have more chip outs. And even glass in the same lot, like this whole bunch here, can engrave differently due to little micro blemishes, imperfections in the glass that can cause problems. So I always suggest to get something similar to this. Just a sheet of glass. Picked this off on Amazon. I believe it's a 12 by 18. And I ran a bunch of different testing with different paints on it, and I wrote down what my power was, my speed was, my LPC was, even the type of dithering on it. And that way you have a reference guide to figure out what works best for your machine and your settings and your paint. After that, one of the things that you're going to want to do is still test it on whatever glassware you use. As you can see here over to my side, let's see if I can get it in the camera. This over here is my kind of area that I keep all my materials. I can tell you, this glass, when I engrave the bottom, can take a higher power setting than this glass over here. In fact, this glass, if I do too high, it will chip out, or if I do too low, it won't engrave deep enough. So you really want to still always run some tests, even if they're smaller, on a sample piece of the glass you're engraving. And once you have it figured out, that's your settings. Save them, write them down in a book. I actually have a book under here that I write all my engraving settings down, depending on if they're metal, glass, acrylic, stone, whatever, wood. And that way I always have a reference guide. In xtool's xtool Studio, you can save all those, but you have to understand that when you save them in there, it will be saved specifically to whatever material you choose. So if you're working with a blank sheet or a different material, but you actually are using something else, it's not going to pop up for you. This is just a way to always have a reference on hand when you need to get something going. Now, once this comes out, which is in about probably 45 seconds or so, and I see there's about 12 of you watching. If you get a chance, please throw some comments or questions in here while I'm talking. I'd gladly answer those for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it out and we're going to wash it off, and we're going to see what it looks like. To save you guys the time on it, because I'm going to try to keep this one shorter for you, I'm actually not going to go wash it. I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to show you what it looks like with the paint and engrave. And then I actually already have 5 or 6 done behind the camera that I will pull out and show you what this engraving turns out to be like. If you're getting into the laser engraving hobby, business, whatever, I would suggest going out there, watching a bunch of videos and doing some research to figure out what laser engraver it will work best for you. I got into laser engraving with a very simple machine. It was a Snapmaker 3-in-1. It's a very old machine. That was a couple years ago, but it was like $100 at a yard sale, and it got me into checking out CNC, 3D printing, and laser engraving. And out of the three, the one I enjoyed the most was the laser engraving. And now that this is over, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Be very careful because my chuck is set in here correctly and I don't want to mess up its positioning. And here is what it ends up looking like. Now, with a little magic, we said we went to the sink and washed it off. At the end of the day, here is what it ends up actually coming to be like. Sorry that it's reversed for you guys. But yeah, that would be the Julia Child method of showing you guys how to do glassware laser engraving. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in here. I'm going to stay live for just a few more minutes. I'm going to throw another in the machine, but I would love to answer any of your questions regarding laser engraving. If you would like me to stay longer, go ahead and hit that like button and I'll do a little bit more with you guys. Any likes, subscribes, or notifications are much appreciated. We are on our way to 250 subscribers, and I'd really like to hit that toward the end of the week. But please, if you get a chance, go ahead and hit one of those buttons. If you're watching this on the TV, hit that like button so I know you're there. I know you guys can't comment on it, but yeah, that is how the simple way of doing glassware is. Anyone out there want to maybe throw something out? I'd love a question right now, or a comment. Rude remarks are also acceptable. All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to throw one more in the laser so you can kind of see how this works. The last one I showed you guys, that was actually the xtool's laser marking spray. This one's the Omtech, and it actually looks quite a bit different, and I'll hold the other one up here so you can kind of see. When I was spraying this one, it was actually a little cold out, so it kind of got a lot spottier, but it still does a really good job of marking it. The Omtech is a little bit thicker, designed for CO2 machines, and it does a really good job. It does leave a little more textured feel to it, so it's going to be a little rougher and kind of feel more 3D-ish on it. But it still does a really good job. So same thing, we're going to throw it in the chuck. And as you can see live, I have not made any adjustments. I haven't messed with the computer, reset anything. All I did is open the lid, take it out, close the lid, put one in, hit the button twice, and off we go. And again, as we can see over here, let me step over this way so you can kind of see it. The machine's going and it's engraving in the exact same spot where I had left it before. One of the things that you guys might want to do if you are into laser engraving is also create jigs or stop points in your machine or however you set up your table. That'll allow you to be able to always place new material or projects in the same position so you can do repeatable engravings, especially if you're going to be trying to run a small business or making like a bunch of ornaments for your family, things of that nature. That is something that I started doing just about 8 months ago. I've made some jigs for coasters and glassware. Actually, one of the ones that I have down, well, I had down here, but I don't see, oh, there they are. Business cards. Aluminum business cards are actually something pretty cool that people are doing these days. These are actually laser engraved anodized business cards, and I made a jig that's actually on the xtool Studio for free. And you can download it, you can cut it out, glue it together, make your own, and you can do about, I think it's 9 or 12 of these at a time. So get creative, think outside the box, solution to problems. And while I'm sitting here, I'll say it one more time. If you got a chance, hit that thumbs up button, give me a like on this so I know you're watching and you're there. If not, it's all good. Like I said, I'm just doing a quick late night live. I know I kind of lied, I said I was done earlier, but I figured I'd come back out here and kind of just give you the quick down and dirty way of how this goes. And if anyone's wondering anything else about my setup here with the xtool S1, the program I run behind me, or the glassware I use, where I acquire it from, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I would love to answer some of those and explain to you kind of like what I have going on when it comes to machines and materials and all that. I'm about 2-3 years into doing this now. I started off on woodworking primarily and wood engraving. I've done multiple urns. You can actually go to my Instagram page, which is Fox and Kit Woodworks, and check out all the different things I've actually made over the last 2-3 years, and going from a kind of small hobby shop up to a, you know, full-time, or I should say part-time side hustle business. Sorry, I can kind of see what's on the screen up here if somebody makes a comment or adds or joins the channel. Unfortunately, I'm not set up for a perfect live stream out here, so I actually have an iPad in front of me with a different account so I can see what you guys may say and who's joining and popping on. So again, if you get a chance, throw a comment in there if you're watching this on TV. Let me know by hitting that like button, because that's the only way I can tell if somebody's on the TV and seeing how many people are actually watching this on their TV at home. And if you can hear, it's getting shorter on that wavelength behind me with the background noise. That means it's getting toward the end of the project. And we will be done right about now. So here it is, out of the engraver. Looks a lot different. You can notice it's got a little bit more frosting look to it. The paint or whatever they use actually kind of turns blue as it's burn off, which is kind of interesting. When I feel it, it actually has a lot more frosting texture to it, kind of that bumpiness to it, versus the xtool one. It's much smoother, and like I said, it's a lot less thick when that comes on the paint. But I actually have a rag here. Let's go ahead and give it a wipe. And there is your live reveal. Let's see if this works. There you go. Turns out just like the others over here. I'll see if I can do it with the Omtech one. The Omtech one's actually a lot stickier. It typically needs to be wiped off with some type of liquid. Unfortunately, I don't have my spray bottle over here. Otherwise, I would get a little bit of wipe off for you and clean it up. But, you know, we'll do the best we can. Spit never hurt anybody. And there you have it. Now, you'll notice that in some spots here where I just had kind of put that spit on there, it's a little darker. When the frosting comes out from doing it, it actually, when you wash it with water, it'll actually look a lot less, we'll call it bright and frosty white looking. It'll actually be kind of a pale, very subdued color to it. But understand that as it dries, it'll actually pop out and give you that nice frosted look. Again, the one thing that I will tell everybody that's watching, if you're getting into laser engraving, you're doing it, the best thing you can do is just get time out in the shop, practice, research and development on it, or you know, trial and error. Those are kind of the best ways to learn a lot of it. Watch plenty of videos. I do have some more videos coming out with laser engraving on my channel that are going to be going over doing slate engraving. In fact, I'll show you guys a slate charcuterie board I engraved, and this is how it turned out. It's kind of hard with the glare, but that is an actual picture of my uncle-in-law that I engraved on slate. So thank you guys for tuning in on this 20-minute short live that I did. It's the shortest I've done today, I believe. I really do appreciate you guys popping in, taking a look. Whether you hit that like or subscribe notification button, it's all good. I appreciate you joining the channel. It makes me feel like I'm doing something good and helping put some knowledge out there for everybody else. Hopefully you guys will join along on our ride to 250 followers or subscribers, and hopefully even higher along the time. But also just watching the stay-at-home dad running a small business out of his garage, you know, trying to teach his two kids how to do things on their own and learn life by actually getting out and experiencing it and getting some good skills. So anyways, I hope you all have a great day and the rest of your night. You all stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.